It's your weekly breakaway for fun conversations on pro cycling. Come join us for another ride beyond the slipstream. I'm Matt Harper, and together with my brother Justin, we'll do deep-ish dives on professional bike races, teams, riders, and all sorts of cycling-related stories. So jump in the saddle and tighten up those shoes. The road awaits. Allez!
Hello and welcome to Beyond the Slipstream. I'm Justin and this is my brother Matt, and today on the show we're plowing our way through the spring classics while Grand Tour season looms ever larger on the horizon. And why are we in mind of Grand Tour season here in late March? Because we now have confirmation that the biggest challenger to the otherworldly dominance of Tadej Pogačar in the Grand Tours is on the best form we've seen from him in 2 full years. And while that rider is maintaining a perfect season thus far, another superstar and a master descender got things far from perfect around a tight corner in the very same race last week. And though he narrowly avoided catastrophe, the incident has called to mind a debate which has been simmering away in both the women's and the men's pro pelotons in recent years: rider safety. So stay tuned for our chat on the continuing saga of the return of the Viking, the ongoing state of rider safety in the modern peloton, and as always, we'll try our best to keep it out of the ravine in the Broom Wagon. Allez. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the show. We're going to jump right into it. We got a lot to cover today, and I think that there is no story bigger than the one that came out of Catalunya this week in the Jonas versus Remco showdown. Well, I guess it would have been Jonas versus Remco versus Pidcock showdown, but we now know who.
Well, really, it would have been Jonas versus Remco or Leipowitz. Was it Leipowitz that was in that race with him? Yeah, because they were co-leaders. But no. I get your point.
and as I was saying on this very show, last year, I think Leipowitz now has the bigger upside to Remco, in my personal opinion. So, but let's get into it. So obviously, Jonas Vingegaard won the stage race in Catalunya this week, and on excellent form. I think in all cases, anytime where he was asked to answer an attack, he was there, and he showed some amazing class through the week. And more than anything, I just think that he showed
won 2 stages.
Could
have possibly won 3.
Yes, but we'll never know. So I mean, that was a very strange stage that he followed this attack of Remco, but he showed some class. But I think more than anything, he's shown that he is the rider that can contend with Pogačar. And he may be the only one that, at least as far as Grand Tours and mountains are concerned, he may be the only one that can really contend, in a stage race versus Pogačar. Because no matter, there isn't anybody that we've seen that is able to, produce the way that he does, and the way that he can distance somebody on the toughest climbs.
Yeah, I mean, he's now won 2 straight stage races with authority in both cases. Like his outlook was almost never in question in either of those 2 races. You can comb the archives all you want. I've never said that like Remco Evenepoel was like a big challenger to Jonas Vingegaard. Like, in my mind, they have never been on the same level as it pertains to Grand Tours.
Well, and I don't mean you. I just mean pundits in general. I think, he got a giant contract from Red Bull because this is the expectation. And and maybe I'm the only person that wants to say it out loud, but I think he's overrated. I really do. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that he's not a A tier rider, but he's not an S tier rider. If you're going to put Pogacar as S tier, you have to put Vingegaard in there, because between the two of them, they're the only ones that have come in one or two in the Tour de France in the last 5 years. It's only been them. They're
Well, like I said, I don't know that there's a lot of pundits out there that are saying, Remco's the best thing ever. I mean, like, he is the defending champion at this race, so he's capable of winning stage races at this level. He's won a Grand Tour, there is pedigree there. I think that making a statement
champion.
like
he's
that,
not
like
the defending champion in this race. No. He wore number 1, yes, but it was Primož Roglic that won this.
Oh, that's right. It was Primož. That's right.
Won this race last year.
I do think that he has won it, though. Hasn't he won this race before?
He may have won it in the past, but he was not defending.
So, in any event, he has definitely had a drought of stage race wins. Is he still in that drought? I know that it had been like well over 2 years since he had actually won a 1 week stage race or a stage race of any kind.
I can look, but it's very possible.
Maybe as his career enters its middle to second half, he becomes more of just a Filippo Ganna style TT specialist. But he's also a bike racer, and will continue to win things, but can he compete in a stage race with a top form Jonas Vingegaard? Hell no.
Correct.
Absolutely not. But I don't think anybody's out there saying that he can. I mean, maybe he could. Maybe if he was on top form. I mean, we also don't know exactly what his form was like this week.
He did have the wreck. Look, you have to give it a caveat. I agree, because, early on in the week, he has, an accident after a really hard day, and it seemed to be, fairly traumatic because he went over the handlebars. I'm sure he hit really hard, and, it has been said that, he was feeling it through the week. So you're absolutely right. But he still made attacks. He still came in third yesterday. So he wasn't completely off form. But, I think it's been proven time and time again on these really tough climbs, he does not have the ability. And I do think that Florian Lipowitz absolutely has the ability.
And it's also possible that the team told him, look, man, you went down in a crash. Your form is a little bit questionable. Your micro form within this race might be a little bit questionable. And here we have Lipowitz, who has already, proven himself in a number of ways. And so the focus is off of you and the focus is on him. Do with that what you will. And I think if you look at his riding over the course of the rest of the week, it certainly might have been the case. His performance over the rest of the week could bear that out. Although in the end, I know he finished fifth, like 2+ back. So Lipo was in third, right? Mm-hmm. 130.
Lipo was on the podium. For the team, it's not a bad week. You know what I mean? It's I don't know. Like I said, but this goes back to that same thing we were talking about with Del Toro last year with the Giro. When you don't have when you're not putting all of your effort into the right person, I think that it can net you the wrong result in the end. And it was proven to UAE last year that they should have gone all in one way and gone with the younger, stronger rider rather than Ayuso. And then, obviously here I kind of feel the same way. But he is electric. I will say this, like for all of my criticism, he is electric. He animates races. All right, he made the stage where him and Jonas took off and tried to solo win. Very, very exciting. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, you can't take that away. Can't take that away from him. He really does animate things.
Yeah, like I
But
said, he'll continue to get wins, and he'll probably
yes,
continue to win stage races. He might win another Grand Tour. I think it's possible. It's within him. I mean, if he's such a focused guy that if he shifted his focus to a more direct like Grand Tour guy instead of like also being the TT specialist, it's just he's so dominant in TT that he has to maintain that. You know what I mean? Like that's just it's
it's his thing.
guaranteed wins.
Yeah.
That's just like bread and butter that he can dine out on for the rest of his life. And it would be insane to abandon that in the pursuit of possible Grand Tour, glory. But yeah, but being on the same level right now in 2026 to be challenging for Grand Tours, no chance.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you
Also,
off there.
also this no, no, and also this week, I found it very interesting that João Almeida just completely non-existent,
Non-existent. Yeah,
which was
but that's
very,
very
very
Zhao.
interesting.
Sometimes he's non-existent, and other times he's right there challenging. And those times do not include when Jonas Vingegaard or Tadej Pogacar are in the race. Well,
So,
no, well he's on Tadej Pogacar's team. So that doesn't.
what
Anyway,
do you think that this means for Jonas? For the obviously, Jonas is doing the Giro and then the Tour. So, what do you think this? How do you think this sets him up for the Giro?
I think it sets him up incredibly well for the Giro. Like the outlook for the Giro is fantastic. Like
I agree.
who's gonna challenge him at the Giro? Who
Yeah, I
can
don't
make a
know.
move that Jonas Vingegaard can't cover in the Giro? Nobody.
Well,
No chance.
especially when it gets really, really high or really, really
Did
hard.
you
It's
exactly? And even when it's not really really hard, how about Jonas's management of Remco's back wheel in the stage where Remco crashed? Like
yes.
Remco was absolutely burying himself, and Jonas was on his wheel like it was a walk in the park. Like there was never like more than a half a bike length between the two of them. He was just like right there. He's like, "Oh, you're going, I'm going. Okay, you're going harder, I'm going harder. Like no problem. I'm right there
Should
with you. Like let's
Should
go."
Jonas have worked more? Do you feel like he obviously he came out and said, "Hey, look, it's racing," but do you think he should have taken a couple more turns on the front?
In pursuit of a stage win, which he already knew he was going to get stage wins, I would say, um, and possibly dragging Remco to the finish to sprint past him. I don't know. I think he played it perfectly. He knew that he was going to be dominant in that race, that you know, it was his for the taking.
He said
So,
one of the comments he made was that Remco is very arrow.
hmm,
So,
yeah. Well,
um,
he's stuck on his wheel like an absolute champion.
well, and then he made the classiest move of the year so far in pulling up and letting it go into a bunch sprint and you know
Yeah.
not
Yeah, that was
but
well,
I think that's
second
Jonas.
second to Kim LaCourt Pinard looking after
Oh
Cassia.
yes,
Second
yeah, yeah. Okay,
classiest.
okay. I'll give you that. At least on the men's side. Um,
Yes.
I but I also think that that's just his character. I think that is
Yeah.
Jonas's character. I think that he's a guy that wants to win on merit. He doesn't want to win on technicality.
Yeah,
And
and he's also a guy that does not sweat wins. And that's part of why I was
yes,
saying, should he have worked more? No, he's not sweating stage three he's going to come away from the race with a GC and two wins anyways. He already knows it. It's like a foregone conclusion. Like who the hell's going to beat him? He can feel how good his form is. He's already just won a stage race with ease. There's nobody here that can challenge him, and he knows it. You know what I mean? So he's not going to sweat a win, especially if it's going to, have any kind of negative shine on him. He's of course he's going to make that decision every time. All he cares about is getting past the finish line, getting back to his family, and giving his kids a kiss. You know, I
all
mean,
right.
that's who that
So
guy is. So you were getting into like Grand Tours. What's the outlook
yes,
for the upcoming Grand Tours? I mean, Giro, no problem. Pogacar is not going to be there. Like
right.
the Tour de France is where it happens, and he's going to be stepping into the Tour de France without a Grand Tour, with a Grand Tour already in his legs, and Pogacar isn't. So he's got his work cut out for him. But he will also hopefully be coming off of having achieved the trio. The trifecta, the Grand Tour trifecta, and having gotten there before Pogacar. So a second in the Tour won't be that big of a deal. Like he will have already achieved something huge in 2026, and it takes the pressure for the tour off of him, and so he can go into the tour just like relaxed. And if this guy is still building form, I mean, you heard his interview at the end. He's like, hopefully not all the way in form. He's like, yeah, it felt great to be really in form, but hopefully not all the way in form. Like we're still building, like it all bodes very well, and I
It
shouldn't be
does.
getting excited about it because
It certainly
I
didn't
need
hurt
Pogacar to
Pogacar
win.
the year that Pogacar won the Giro. It didn't hurt him to ride the Giro before the Tour because he came
No.
out and had his most dominant Tour to date that year. I mean,
And
he won.
that was essentially the start of his like magisterial
Yeah,
floating in
nobody
the
can beat
clouds
him.
above
Right.
everybody period. It was 2 years ago and last year.
Well, he took five. I think he took 5 stages in both of those races. I mean,
Hmm.
that's he put on a master class in the Giro, just
Yeah,
destroyed everybody. He wasn't even
he won
close.
2 Grand Tours and 10 Grand Tour stages in 1 year. It's
And
absolutely
and a
insane.
world championship.
Right. And then he basically repeated all of that again this year, except for
Yes,
he only did one Grand Tour.
correct.
But he also won a whole bunch of monuments and shit too. I mean, anyways, I had something in my notes about a little Pogacar update. There's just the superlatives just keep on rolling. It's just like so fun to see what little idiosyncratic superlative he's achieved this week. Um, but I just think that like as much as I need him to win for our fantasy contests or whatever, like the Jonas comeback story, Return of the Viking, I'm loving it. You know what I mean? It's like Visma has had all these trials and tribulations this year, and they've been off. But you know what? It seems like they kind of got sprinting covered. Coy is gone, but like they got their guy, Matty B. He's in and amongst it. He's going to get some wins this year, that's for sure. Wow, Van Aert has been looking good. He's avoided injury this year for the most part. I mean, he had the little kind of cyclocross
Hmm.
thing, but he's back. He's in action. He's been animating races as well. Hey, he came third in MSR. You know what I mean? And now you got
And he
Jonas. Like,
almost was on the podium yesterday. So
yeah, almost on the podium yesterday. Jonas goes to the tour, and I think he's got Wout and Matteo both going with him, plus Sepp Kuss, who could use a little bit of redemption. And maybe it's like, guys, we're getting the band back together. It's Tour de France.
he's got his absolute lieutenant in Vic
Yeah,
Campenarts. Yeah.
yeah. And maybe, this is the year that Pogacar falters. Who knows? And they draw even on Tours de France wins.
Oh, that'd be amazing. God, it'd be so great. All right.
Just
Like, all right, let's put a cork in that on a great note, and all right, let's talk about Tom Pidcock. All right, so Tom Pidcock was descending down essentially by himself. He had no camera bike with him. He didn't have any other riders with him,
this
and
is on stage 5, correct? Yeah.
yeah, stage 5, and he decided to take a drink and miscalculated the turn and went off the road, and no one saw it happen. All right, he went down into a ravine very dangerously. He said that he is ninja like now. He is now self-proclaimed himself a ninja, but
The bike ninja.
he literally says that he probably would not have been found had it not been for the radio. I mean, I'm sure they would have found him eventually, but
No, the radio, not the GPS. That's the
yeah,
thing.
no.
Like,
His radio. He was telling the team like, okay, here's where I'm at. I've wrecked, and that's essentially what they used to find him. And this is not the first time. This is the second time in 2 weeks where we've had descent dangerous wrecks, and it goes back to the same thing that we've been talking about, the GPS with the riders and teams being reluctant for it. And I don't understand it. Like, I don't understand what the reluctance is to put GPS on these guys. I get it that like putting it as part of the bike adds weight to the bike, but look, you can I have an air tag in my backpack. All right, if I get 10 feet from my backpack, all right, my phone starts going off and saying, "Oh, hey, your backpack's not with you." All right, like, you're telling me we can't put an air tag in their helmet that doesn't impede them in some way that's attached to the GPS, the device that's already on their bike, by the way, because I don't think putting it on the bike is the way to go. I think it should be in their helmet, because if they get separated from their bike, what if they're in one place and the bike got stuck in a tree, or the bike
Right,
got...
but you could also say, what if their helmet gets ripped off? But I get your point. Well, let's just assume for the purposes of the conversation that like there are no technological limitations here. If they wanted to, they could stick a GPS unit on the bottom of everybody's bike seat or on the bottom of on the back of everybody's helmet or whatever they wanted. They could do it tomorrow. I mean, think about what bikes were like even 10 years ago and how much lighter they are now. The difference, you know what I'm saying? Like if
minimal.
Yeah, so that's a foregone conclusion. The discussion becomes like, why aren't we doing that? Now, with the Pidcock situation, yes, he was saved because of a couple of things. Number one, he didn't hurt himself in the crash. Number two, he was conscious when he finished the crash. Number three, his radio was still attached to him at the end of the crash. Number four, his radio did not get damaged in the crash. Like all of those factors led to Tom Pidcock being able to get rescued quickly. And as we saw, he actually finished the stage that day, although he DNS'd the next day. But nonetheless, it still raises the issue in our minds, you know, because in the past, most specifically 2 years ago, when the junior pro Muriel Ferrer perished in the World Championships, in the Junior World Championships race in her home country of Switzerland, when she went off the road in a crash, was unconscious, and was not found for a long period of time because nobody knew where she was, and there was nobody around her when she went off the road. And I think that's kind of what the Pidcock situation bears in resemblance to that one, is that he went off the road. Certainly there were some riders / motorcycles / automobiles that were the nearest ones behind him when he went off the road that went right past and had no idea that he had crashed. It was only that he was able to get on the radio and get to his team car. The point here is that what if his radio had been knocked off him? You know what I mean? What if his radio didn't work or whatever, got disconnected or something like that? What if he was knocked unconscious? Then in that instance, everybody's driving past, because it is a fact that in a pro bike race, there are places where you could fly off the road and land in an area where you can't be seen. And if you are by yourself, there's no way that anybody would know that you're there. That is a fact of pro cycling. And based on that fact alone, how come there's not a GPS on both the helmet and the bike? You know what I'm saying?
Well, that's my whole point, is they could literally put a tag in the helmet that if the rider, because now mind you, your phone knows if you get into a car accident, your phone knows that it stopped and it was traveling at 60 miles an hour and now it is stopped instantly. It knows that because I know, because my phone did it once.
Right.
All right. So if the GPS tracker stops suddenly, all right, and all right, these two things separate, like, you know that something's happening. If it stops suddenly at all, you know they've had an accident at least. So the fact that we don't apply this technology or this ability that we already have to this situation to make it safer for these riders that are, by the way, going. I've seen what's the crazy number that we saw? Was it like 80 kilometers an hour downhill sometimes? Like, that's insanity.
Absolutely. No, they go over 100 kilometers downhill. Kilometers, miles per hour. They go 50 plus. Yeah, 50 plus miles per hour, close to 60.
The fact that we're even debating them doing it is unconscionable to me. I think it is irresponsible as far as I'm concerned.
It is an insanely dangerous sport, and we should be taking every safety precaution that is available to us, especially the ones that will not inhibit the racing one little bit. Now, let's do our due diligence. Let's put out the other side of the argument, which I am sensitive to. At the Tour of Romandy women's last year, 5 teams were kicked out of the race, disqualified, because they refused to comply with a somewhat spur of the moment requirement by the UCI to use this race as an experiment for GPS tracking units. They gave one unit to each team, told them how to affix it to the rider, and said choose one rider that you're going to affix this to. And some of the teams just had a problem with that. They don't like having the control of their equipment and their riders taken away from them in any way. And their point was there's a better way to approach this. So what I think with this particular issue, it should be something simple along the lines of this. UCI says, okay, we've got our task force together that's going to find the 5 best technologies for GPS tracking. We're going to submit them to all the teams on this date. You have 6 months to do your testing. You have to you have to vote on which one you want by this date. At that time, we go with that one. Then we're going to, give you X number of races to get it fully incorporated onto your team, so that by X date you have to be fully compliant, and then we're done with this.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
I agree. I think that is a perfect way to handle it, and I think it's something that should be done immediately. I just think I feel like the fact that this is an argument is the dumbest thing ever.
Yeah. I mean, Gino Mater lay dying in a waterfall down a ravine, and there were people around him, but you know what I mean? Like,
but they couldn't find
the
him.
fact that poor Muriel Ferrer just laid out there and died alone in the woods, because it's unconscionable. Like you said it perfectly. It's absolutely unconscionable. Well, hey, when they asked Jonas Vingegaard how he would feel if his kids came to him and said, "Daddy, can we get in a bike race?" He'd be like, "No, absolutely not." It's like, no way I would let my kids race bikes. It's a dangerous sport. I mean,
it is a dangerous sport. How many sports can you say that people have dead?
Yeah.
In the, not some random one-off. All right. This is multiple people over the last few years, and over the course of time, it's even more.
And been terribly injured as well. I mean, we need not look back any further. Yeah. Right off the side of a bridge. Example. But we only need to go back a week and look at the poor girl that flew off the thing on above Cassia Nawadoma. Right. But the second one, landed, right. Dead, but the second one would not have been found were it not for another rider standing up at the top of the little incline that she fell down onto, seeing the safety personnel coming down and saying, "There's another one down there," so that they immediately went down there. Again, the GPS units. Now, in a situation like that, there's a lot of people around. She probably would have been found pretty quickly. But once again, cementing the point that, like, knowing where the riders are at all times during a race is essential.
But we've talked about these smaller races.
We have the technology.
We absolutely, and we've also talked about these smaller races, all right, that are just as dangerous as MSR. Okay, but MSRs, of course, there's more cameras, there's more everything. It's a bigger race.
Yeah, there's tens of thousands of people lining the course.
But in these smaller races, in the Itzul Basque country, all right, in Catalunya, in Étoile Bessèges,
okay,
there are way less people, way less, parts of the, members of the organization. There's way less, commissaires. There's way less everything, but it's just as dangerous. So the fact that we don't do something and make this sport safer just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. I don't get why there's anybody is on the other side of this argument. It's maddening. And imagine if Tom Pidcock had actually been seriously hurt. Would that have been enough? Would that have been enough for them to do something about it?
He's certainly a high-profile rider.
I mean, he's not. What if
Pidcock had not just had been hurt, but what if Pidcock had been thrown off, like had not been found? You know what I'm saying? What if Tom Pidcock had the exact same thing happen to him that happened to Muriel Ferrer? You know what I mean? Thrown off course, knocked unconscious. Maybe he survives. You know what I mean? And it's once again another near miss. But like, he was knocked unconscious and laid in a field for 12 minutes while they looked for him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Would that immediately spark, like by the Tour de France, would every rider have a GPS unit on their thing? Because they could do it that quickly. They could do it in a week. They could implement something like that in a freaking
They
week.
could just say you're doing it. I mean, the UCI could just come out and say, "Look, this is
Yeah.
enough's enough."
Yeah.
You know.
Well, what if they took an approach like this? We're going to create a what's the word, a hub, an online hub where all of the teams are responsible for creating a login and having some sort of mechanism for real-time uploading of all of their riders during a race. You know what I mean? So they can use their own system. They just have to provide this specific data, the UCI, which is where is your rider at all times during the race? Like so that the UCI is tracking it, but the information they're using is coming in from all the different teams. So that way the teams could still feel like they have a semblance of control over how it's mounted to the bike. Although there's a part of me, it's like, that should be a standard thing. All teams should have to be like, you have to put this thing around your seat post. End of story.
So convene a council, all right, have, DSs, riders, commissaires all on this council, and they need to debate it and figure it out. But get on it, man. That's my whole point is there's literally no reason to hesitate. They should be on this immediately, because as everything gets faster, and we know that it's continually getting faster and faster and faster, that increases the danger and it increases the likelihood that something catastrophic is going. I mean, look, catastrophic things have already happened, but at some point it's going to be a big name. It's, a big name rider is gonna have one of these things happen, and then all of a sudden it's gonna be, oh well, we should have done this a long time ago. So
Yeah,
to me,
I agree.
I don't see what the hesitation is, but UCI, get your act together. All right, get this going. Get this done.
Beyond the Slipstream is officially in favor of GPS tracking for all riders in the pro peloton starting as soon as possible.
Now, did you not want to say something about about cameras involved in wrecks too? Wasn't there something that you
Yes,
wanted to
thank
cover?
you for bringing that up. We saw this a lot in the Milan San Remo crash with Cassia Doma, where when the race producers in Italy would choose to go back to the shots of the crash, you caught the announcers saying, "Oh, we're so sorry that you're having to see this. This is not us. We're not the ones deciding to show these images, and like, this is disrespectful." And when it happened with the Vingegaard crash, I think is when Chris Horner on his YouTube channel, his very popular YouTube channel, Butterfly Effect, and Beyond the Coverage, he made it a huge point to say that it is essential that during the live broadcast of a bike race where there is a bad crash, that they keep the cameras firmly affixed to what is going on with the crashed out riders for a very specific reason. And that reason is that if their family is watching back home, there is no better way for them to get up-to-date information about their loved ones than watching the live feed of what is happening right there. Relying on the team boss to be making a phone call, to be telling information, it's not fair. Nobody deserves that. You wouldn't want that if it was your family member, and that's a no-brainer. So please, for racing fans, keep that in mind when you hear announcers saying, "Oh, we're so sorry you have to be seeing these images." No, it is essential that we see those images, as difficult as they are to watch.
I agree. And you got to keep. Nobody can understand what it's like to be a family member of someone that they just watched just completely, eat shit across a road and into a ditch. So, on that note, we're gonna take a quick break. We're gonna come back. Things are heating up in the Beyond the Slipstream fantasy game, and so we are gonna use that to frame our conversation about a lot of other races that happened this week. So, stay with us. Exciting stuff to come. Be right back.
Please check out our other show, Inglorious Brothers, a pop culture show with cult classic swagger. Search and subscribe in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube, or click the link in the show notes.
Welcome back. All right, so there was a lot of other racing that happened this week, and we're going to get into that. Our fantasy game heated up over the weekend with me able to grab a few points. Matt had grabbed some early points in the week and was extending his lead, and at least for the month, the weekend was very kind to your boy here, because I was able to make up some ground in the overall and pretty much close the gap as far as the month was concerned. Yeah,
it makes me think to myself, is Pogačar that great of a fantasy pick for our purposes here? Because like the guy is just like only doing the biggest races of the year. Now, granted, he's probably going to win them all. He'll probably win every one that he enters. Nonetheless,
well, you can go in the tracker month by month and see what kind of points he's collecting.
I know. I'm just kind of joking a little bit. I mean, when we get into the Grand Tours, like if the guy does 2 Grand Tours, God knows how many stages he could win. So,
for the month of March, all right, you have totaled up 211 points to my 205. So we are neck and neck in March. And I was distraught a week ago. Like I was so far behind. And
what did I say?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It's all going to even out. Yeah. So that puts us on you on 336 for the year so far, and me at 309 for the year. Mm-hmm. And that does take into account, I did go back and double check everybody's points to the beginning of the year based on our conversation last week where we decided that we were going to essentially add in an extra rider for each of us and do away with the substitutions unless someone is out indefinitely. So that being said, we can go in and why don't we break down a couple of these races? So you grabbed the early points this week with the E3 Saxo Classic, with Mr. Once in a generation talent Matthew Vanderpool.
Dude, what a racer! What a racer! The way he outfoxed those fools. Oh my God, that was so great.
Did he? Okay, so hold on. Did he outfox them, or were they just stupid? Because
no, he outfoxed them, and I'll tell you exactly why.
All right.
He allowed them. They were at one point. They were like 2 bike lengths behind him. They had for all intents and purposes caught him.
Yes.
They were right behind him, like less than 1 second behind him, and. You watch his body language throughout that whole part when they're just about getting close enough to him. You watch his body language. He is looking so beaten. And he knew damn good and well he had one more hard turn in him, like no problem. You look at his body language. Go back and watch the tape.
He said that.
So they're looking at him thinking, okay, we got him now. Like now we can cat and mouse. Played it perfectly, and that's they immediately start cat and mousing each other, and he very quietly slips away again, and before they know what's happened, he's 8 seconds in front of them again, and now they're through the Flamme Rouge.
Yeah, it's mind-boggling to me. Okay, these 4 guys, all right, worked so hard, all right, to catch him. And worked so well together, and they get to the and you're absolutely right, dude. They could have spit on him. They were so close.
We should call out who these riders were, by the way. Stan de Wolf, Jonas Abrahamson, and Per Strand Hagenes. And wasn't Vermeersch with them as well?
Yes, Vermeersch was with them as well. Florian Vermeersch, Per Strand, De Wolf and Jonas Abrahamson. And we're talking 20 Ks of hard work to catch him. All right, 20 Ks, and they blow it in the worst possible way in the last 1,500 meters. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, longer than 20 Ks too. Vanderpool got away on the Paterberg with 43 kilometers to go.
Right, but they had spent 20 Ks in that chase group.
Yeah.
All right, like I just and your heart breaks for them, but it also doesn't because they lost. He didn't win the race; they lost it, in my opinion. Like if they would have kept going and swallowed him up and forced him to get in behind them, which is what they should have done, and then sprinted for it at the end, they'd have been fine. But they all let up at that exact moment, and you're absolutely right. And he decided to put in one last hard effort, and it was enough to get him the win. And good for him. All right, but that shows you the difference between Matthew Vanderpool and the rest of the world.
Yeah. He's a wily racer. That man is seasoned. He's been in a zillion bike races in his life, and he knows exactly how to play these fools. So that was definitely to my favor. Nothing came to pass for either of us in the two Ronde van Brugge races. However, I did enjoy watching those races, to be sure.
I did as well. As far as the men's is concerned, we got to shout out Unibet Rose Rockets, Dylan Groenewegen. That's like his third win in like 2 weeks. And
third win in less than 2 weeks.
They got another win at they got another win this week as well at sorry, I have it in the production notes. What is that race called? The Leroux Tourangelle Central Val d'Or. So
yeah, and it was also their first World Tour win. It was Dylan Groenewegen's 81st career win.
Yeah, D-Gro is on fire. The team is on fire. All right, that team, something is going right on that team. They've got good headspace. They are working well together. They have badass kits. Like
Does this mean you're going to say absolutely not? Just look what happened on the weekend. I already know the answer to your question. Does this mean that Jasper Philipsen is sliding down into the ranks of, like, he's now one of the guys that had his peak and now he's past his peak because he's getting beaten head to head by Dylan Groenewegen, who expertly got right into his slipstream and took 2 big gulps of air and blasted right past him like easy peasy, sprinting 101. Now you say no. Look at the weekend. I'm
going to say no because ask me at the end of the year if he's slid down. At this point, I can't say that he's slid down out of that grouping. Because we basically haven't seen Tim Merlier. Okay, we saw him a couple of times really early on in the year, and that's it. We haven't seen Tim Merlier. We, are we trying to say that Paul Magnier and Max Cantor and Tobias Lund Andresen are the new guard in the sprint? Like, come on, man, it's Jasper Philipsen, dude. He's a disaster, but he is a winner in big spots, and it's also early in the season, so. Once Grand Tour season starts, if he's not winning sprints, then we can have that conversation.
That's just a little hot take for you to chew on. Let's talk about the women's.
Karis Lloyd.
A name I can remember hearing, but I don't recall that I've ever uttered that name.
I'm sure we've never talked about her. So she's one of the 2 women or British women that were picked up and highly touted along with Kat Ferguson. Okay, her and Kat Ferguson were highly touted young riders, and
they're both good friends with each other too.
Yeah, and I think this is going to be the first of many wins because let's state it, because it hasn't happened since like 2024. She's the first person to beat Wiebes in a actual heads-up sprint where Wiebes was not completely hampered by some other mitigating factor. She got boxed in. She was not able to really.
She was like
unload.
8th or something.
She didn't finish in the top. Yeah, I think it was 8th.
I think she was 8th.
But that's the first time that someone's beat her legitimately since 2024. All right. So now, mind you, she was boxed in. She didn't get to completely unleash the sprint. And if her lead out had been like it normally is and been better, she probably would not, Karis probably wouldn't have won that race. However, she did. And Wiebes.
Do you think Wiebes was throwing stuff around the team bus that afternoon? Screaming at people?
I don't know. I don't put her on that. I don't put her on that. Like,
I don't at all.
Yeah. Like, I don't put her on. Like,
but her lead out was literally non-existent. There was no one around her. I don't know what happened to her team in the run into that finish, but she had nobody for the longest time. And then she was just like,
that race was a disaster. I mean, it was pouring rain.
It was absolutely epic.
There was hail. There was rain. Like, it was
like pouring rain. Like a nasty. There was a nasty crash. One chick just went face first into the pavement. The crash that took out Mackenzie Copeland.
Yeah,
it was so nasty.
Yeah, that race was disgusting. So, but it is Karis Lloyd's first major win, first pro win.
And at that point, fantasy wise, I'm feeling like I dodged a huge bullet. I'm like, all right, one down. Like somehow, some way, he didn't get points with Wiebes. Like that's insane, but that happened.
Yes, it is insane because my melancholy was at full force when Wiebes didn't win that, because I'm like, okay, I'm gonna make up some ground here.
Did you get points for Jasper's podium?
I did get points for Jasper's podium, so. I did get, right.
And then E3 comes along, and I'm basically equalized at this point,
more or less. Yeah. So you're good.
I'm actually ahead at this point for the week.
Oh yeah. I
got a first. You got a second.
Way ahead.
No, I'm talking about like this week when we're talking about week, like just what's happening this week. Yeah, I'm like
you were ahead, even with garnering a few points from Philipsen on the podium. It still was not you're still well ahead at this point. So now I had taken a couple of stages with Jonas, which did help. So Jonas has been my workhorse, dude. This month, Jonas is like almost all my points. It's like
but not at that point during the week. I'm like talking about like I'm looking at this as the week is going along. So I'm pretty sure the first races were the Von Brugge races, right?
This is correct.
So like as the week starts, I'm like, okay, bullet dodged. He gets some points with Philipsen, but at least he's not on the top step. Then comes E3. By E3 day, Jonas has gotten himself a stage win. So now I'm like, oh God. So then Van der Poel gets back a win there, and I'm like, all right, well, that's good. That sort of equalizes me a little bit. But we're rolling into the weekend, and it's already a foregone conclusion that Jonas is going to win the goddamn GC.
The day that Jonas and Remco took off, I'm super excited because I'm like, we're both getting points. Can I win? And then Remco wrecks and he stops. He stops racing, and I'm like, as cool and classy as it was, I'm like, no, go for the win, dude. Go for the win.
It's arguable whether he would have been able to maintain it to the finish anyways. There was still a fair bit of space between him and the finish line when he sat up and that peloton was hard charging, but he could have made it. We'll never know.
In my head, I'm going to say he won. He could have won. I'm keeping it that way. All right, that's how it lives in my head.
Yeah. So but it was already clear that I wasn't going to get any production out of Remco that week. He just was not off that week, so we discussed that earlier in the show.
You did pick up some what do they call it? Like some late points there on stage 7. He did come in third, so you did pull some minimum points there, some garbage points.
But heading into the weekend, you already knew that Jonas was gonna win at least one of those mountain stages, if not both. He wins both.
He wins both, and
I know he's
got the GC in hand, so I know I've got 25 points in hand there. So I'm like, okay, so All right, let's go. And then we get to Ghent-Wevelgem. I know it's called in Flanders.
You went on both sides, for God's sake. Ugh.
And well, no, but so while in Vanderpool go off the front, like first off, like can we talk about how great that was real quick? Like wow,
Yeah, that was awesome.
Matthew Vanderpool working together, like going, trying to take the race by themselves. Like there could, like I was, that was sublime.
But once again, when Vanderpool's going head to head against Wout van Aert in a setting up your teammate for the win mode, Vanderpool wins.
Yes. So obviously, what ends up happening is that those two end up getting swallowed up, and it goes into a bunch sprint. And Jasper Philipsen finally comes through for me. So Philipsen grabs me the win there, and
Philipsen got you something. He got you something 2 weeks ago, though, right? He won that midweek race like 2 weeks ago, or did that one not count?
I don't think that counted. Yeah, no, that was a
no. He won no curse. That one counted because I got Kopecky.
Oh yeah,
points,
you're right. He did right. You're right. Oh wait, isn't I think No Curse is a 2.0 pro race.
Oh, maybe so.
I don't think either of us got points on that one. So, all right. So into the women's race now, and which
I did want to mention in the men's race, we got another little taste of Alex Segart.
That kid can ride a bike, man.
Almost made something happen. It was cool to see him pop out there, and happy to see Laporte on the podium.
Yeah, the Christophe Laporte like rehab and back again is great. Visma's got a great video on their YouTube channel about his trials and tribulations and his comeback. It's really good. Highly recommend. So that takes us to the women's race, which I did find to be, even though you had the Wout and Vanderpool of it all in the men's race, I thought from a racing standpoint, the women's race was vastly more interesting. That kind of, essentially it was a peloton for most of the race. And then you had a big group, including, Weebus and others. Hold on, I'm sure I have it in my notes somewhere.
Well, towards the end, it was Weebus, Gasparini, and Swinkles, Fleur, Moores of Lidl Trek, and Elise Chabet.
Yeah. So in this, now I'm going, okay, out of these five, I've got two riders.
You got Chabet, 2 of 5, including the hot favorite, who dusted everyone on the climbs. Did you notice that?
Yeah, she was bossing it, dude. And
on the Kemmelberg, ridiculous. She dropped everybody on the Kemmelberg.
Yes,
incredible.
She was answering attacks left and right. Managed.
Yeah, she. Go ahead.
I was going to say she managed everything that day just perfectly.
She is very clearly transitioning from a flat sprinter specialist to a puncher Vanderpool style, like before our eyes.
I mean, I just think she's so talented that she can pretty much do anything she wants at any point.
RVV. She is racing RVV. Yes.
Let's look in. I don't have her on this list.
No,
I do not. She may be, but at least she wasn't on the start list the potential start list that I was looking at.
She's on there on PCS.
Oh,
RVV, Paris-Roubaix, Amstel Gold. I'm like, this woman could win any of these races,
or all of them.
It's crazy. It's crazy. She wants to win RVB.
And so, now it didn't. I ended up obviously, she dusted everybody, but I did not get any points with Chabet. She did not come in.
Nope.
She did not get a second or a third place, so no points for Elise. But it did make it very, very, very exciting. Like it kept my interest hardcore.
Meanwhile, I didn't have any. I didn't have. Well, I had Phillips in that race, but I had Vanderpool in that race, but half the time I'm thinking, he's setting up Phillipsen. Like this is just to help his teammate, which makes it even more bittersweet when they lose and you see your guy just thrilled. Vanderpool's back there just like rejoicing, shaking his fist in the air. I'm like, fuck you, man.
Because they
Get your
both
fist.
got wins this week.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Oh well. C'est la vie.
C'est la vie. So let's talk about, we got Holy Week directly in front of us. I can't wait. What do we start with? Dwar's Door on
Yeah,
Wednesday?
so Dwar's Door men's and women's are both on, I think, Wednesday. In the men's side, you got basically the same crew from Gent Wevelgem earlier this week: Pedersen, Phillipsen, DeLee, Anderson, Wout van Aert, Paul Magnier, Roman Gregoire. Who's Brenna? Who's Matty Brennan? You mean?
You did that, not me. You did Dwar's Door.
Oh, Brennan must be Brennan. Jonathan Milan and Biniam Gourmet. Yeah, so you don't have Magnier activated, right? You got Phillipsen, not Magnier.
I'm pretty sure I went with Phillipsen and Magnier is my backup.
Sure about that? Because this whole conversation could change. No, I already looked.
Yeah.
You got him in there. But no Vanderpool there.
Yes, you got Wout van Aert though.
I know, but he's
Wout's
not. He's
good.
not on my squad. I'm just thinking.
Well, I understand that, but for just like, how sweet would it be? Because I mean, Dwarsdorp Vanderlyn was like our favorite race last year. Like it was one of the best races of the whole season last year, as far as one day races are concerned.
Yeah. Well, as far as our fantasy contest goes, it's Pedersen and Phillipsen versus Brennan, basically. So big test for my boy. On the women's side, you have Vollering and Chabet and Bredevold, right? Don't you have Misha Bredevold as well?
Yes, I do.
So you're stacked, and then I'm also stacked with Roysa, ELB, Kopecky, and Kim LeCour-Pinard.
Yep.
So 3 versus 4 advantage me on the women's side.
RVV is even more so. Wait till we get to the names on that side. for us, I mean, it's like basically
go ahead.
Entire squad. So on the women's side at RVV, all right, we have ELB. So just from the fantasy, I won't even mention anybody else. Just we have ELB, we have Kopecky, Bredevold, Vollering, Chabet, Voss, Roysa, Lacourt. And
That's
then waiting in non-actives, I also have Lippert in there as a non-active as well. I mean, and then you also have Charlotta Kuhl, Puck Petersa, Consoni and Backstad, Gasparini. This is a race, dude. This has got some hitters.
Awesome. All right, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and you have
1, 2, 3,
4.
4.
Yeah, because you don't.
Lippert's not.
So it's
active.
4 on 4. So it's 4 on 4 on the women's. So, and then in the men's, let's see, I have
you have Pog,
Vanderpool, and Brennan.
Yeah, I mean that's. I've got Pedersen. That's my only real person in that race.
Oh, so you have to say, when you look at the entire weekend or the entire week's outlook, you got me 2-1 in Dwarsdorp, but I've got you 3-2 in Dwarsdorp women. You got me 2-1 in men's. I got you 3-2 in women. RVV women were dead even, but I got you 3-1 on the men's side.
I mean, it's most likely a foregone conclusion at RVV.
Hogcineration. The women's is wide open. I feel like the women's is absolutely
the women's race
wide
is
open.
going to be like, ooh, I can't wait for that one. Yeah, no, who knows? I mean, like, it'd be cool to see something, something happen, um, with another rider. It'd be awesome, but I just don't see it. Do me a favor, because I didn't see it on the start list. Is Paul Seixas riding
No,
in
I wish.
RVG?
I wish.
Yeah.
Oh well, I did activate him last week as we discussed.
Yes.
You anything else on that stuff?
No, not really. Yeah, no, I'm going through. I think that was all of it. So why
Okay,
don't
well, you're the host of this
I
week's
was gonna,
show.
sorry, sorry. I'm just making sure I didn't miss anything. All right. You want to jump into the broom wagon?
Absolutely.
All righty. So I know you have a special one, so we're gonna let you go second. I'm gonna throw mine out there. Is this little video that we're gonna link in the description, from a man named Kilo. All right, Killow, and he did a song about Paul Seixas, begging Paul Seixas to not go to UAE. and, and in the song, he says that he'll build a statue for him in his garden, and he's better than just being Pogacar's successor. It is extremely funny. He said wouldn't it be great to win the Tour de France on a decathlon bike? And it was one of those little one-off things that that pop into my feed all throughout the week, and it tickled me. It is the most heartfelt song about cycling that I feel like I've ever heard.
I didn't notice if he speaks at all during that video. Does he speak? Is he a French person? Do we know what his
I think
nationality
he is
is?
French. I think he is French.
It just shows you just the relationship that people have to cycling around the globe, and how these things, these moves that can happen in cycling, trades to other teams, how they can affect us on a deeply personal level.
Well, and
Like,
it's
yes,
just
please don't go to a super team. Please don't go chase the Arab oil money, Paul Seixas. Please don't.
I think we can all agree that we don't want Paul Seixas to chase the money. That I think it would be beneficial for racing in general for him to stay on a different team and make it more competitive. But good Lord, it would just, I could just see them doing it though, man. I hope that beyond hope that he's not money motivated. There's
Seems like a nice kid. He's still living at home with his parents. I don't know. Maybe he is he's a stark raving nationalist for the country of France and a proud, patriot and Frenchman, and he wants nothing more than to stay racing in France for a French team. And we have our fingers crossed.
We do. Okay, so I was told to not go down into your notes.
Don't overhype it. Don't overhype it.
All right, well,
I'm just excited to tell you about this thing that I discovered this week. So
okay, all right. So go on, Matt. What's your broom wagon item?
First, I'm going to make you indulge me with a couple of quick. Speaking of chasing that oil money, some quick stats about my number one rider, Tadej Pogacar.
Okay.
He was the first rider to win Milan-San Remo in the rainbow jersey in 43 years. Giuseppe Saroni was the last one, a man who once won 7 stages of the Giro in 1 year. Pog now has 11 monument wins, which puts him into a two-way tie with Roger de Vlaeminck for second all time, and he's behind Eddie Merckx by 8. Merckx has 19, which is just nuts.
That's crazy.
So he's still got a long way to go on that particular record. He has podiumed 8 monuments in a row. It's never been done before. He has 110 career wins as of right now. How crazy is it that his race program so far for this year has been Strade Bianche, MSR, Flanders, Roubaix, LBL. That's his whole program. That's just crazy. And I mean, he's, likely to score big in all of them, but it's just absolutely wild that would be a rider's program. He literally only rides in the biggest races.
So wait. Could he win all 5 in the same year?
Oh, did you hear Dan Lloyd speculate that exact thing? I mean, he's got one checked off. Who's going to beat him this weekend?
Nobody, probably. I mean,
right?
It would take something happening for it to happen.
Okay, who's going to beat him in LBL and Lombardia?
So Paris-Roubaix is the one. Right. So if he wins Paris-Roubaix, did you look? Did Dan Lloyd say if anybody's ever gotten all 5 in the same year?
No, it's definitely never happened.
That would be insanity.
Oh,
all right, so
crazy.
Look, if he wins Paris-Roubaix, I am so on your bandwagon. I want him to win all 5 monuments. I want him to have 150 points in our game off of that, because that'd be historical. I mean, we would literally be watching cycling history.
Yeah, that's like on par with Cavendish breaking that route. Like, it's one of the all-time great things. Yeah. And if it's going to happen, it's got to happen this year, because he has made multiple comments to the effect that he is not interested in doing MSR again now that he's checked that box.
It doesn't surprise him. Why would he put himself through that? I mean, he had to empty. That's one of the few times in recent history that we've ever seen him completely empty himself.
Yeah. I did also want to mention that the rider who flew over the wall in the horrible crash, Casaway-Doma crash, was Deborah Silvestri. 5 broken ribs, microfracture on her shoulder that could have been way worse.
Yeah, was it a clavicle, right? Isn't that what it was? Her clavicle? Shoulder. Yeah, I think she actually, the break is in the clavicle.
The other rider that flew over the wall, by the way, from Visma Lisa bike was Margot Vigie, and she finished the race, got back on her bike. It came 77th MSR. Pretty freaking impressive.
And she is now a certified ninja.
Certified ninja. She is in the ninja club. We should create a ninja hall of fame for badass crash survivors who go on and finish races. I will on air production meeting. Add that to the files. Also, Nairo Quintana announced his retirement at the end of this year. All right, let me get into my broom wagon. All right. I came upon a stage show that, as of now, is only in Australia. If this thing ever comes to the Washington, D.C. area, I will be the first in line to see it. It is called Cadell, Lungs on Legs. This was a smash hit play that a guy named Connor Delves wrote and stars in. He premiered it at the Edinburgh Festival, the Fringe Festival, the big stage festival that happens in Edinburgh every year. Are you familiar with that?
I'm aware of it.
Yeah, Edinburgh Fringe, huge festival, lots and lots of shows, one-man shows, stage shows, plays, all kinds of stuff. It's like the South by Southwest for theater, and it happens every year in Edinburgh, Scotland. This thing won the top prize at the Edinburgh Festival, as far as I can tell. It's called Cadell Lungs on Legs, and it is the life story of Cadell Evans, depicted by one guy on stage who has a bike that's mounted on stage. It's like on a tripod, so he can spin it around. And he plays Cadell Evans, and it's like him giving the autobiography of his life. There's a giant TV screen behind him that shows like race footage and puts him in the race. If you watch the trailer, it's amazing. Like, he's got all the different, like the national champions jersey and his BMC jersey out there and his Tour de France jersey. Cadell Evans is the only Australian to have ever won the Tour de France, and he is an absolute like household name in Australia. Like, never buy a beer again in Australia kind of a guy, like an absolute national hero down there. He's got a race. He's like one of the only people that actually has a big name race that's like pro, that's got top pros going to it every year. Like, he is a big deal in Australia. I mean, we did a whole segment about him, for God's sakes. Well, this show sounds amazing. It looks amazing. And I love the fact that this dude, like, he's got to be fit as heck, because he is not only riding the bike for an hour straight, basically. I mean, he gets off the bike at times and stuff, but like, he's getting on the bike and like gunning it whilst narrating this story. And It just sounds it sounds and looks fascinating, and I'm so here
I want
for
to
it.
see it. Is there
What
a
an
video
amazing
of it
idea.
anywhere? Like, can you watch
Well,
it?
you can't watch the whole show. Like you can watch the trailer, and you can go to the website and see some still photography and some clips. But and I'll put both of those links in the show notes. But as of now, it's just in Australia and not going elsewhere anytime that I know of. But if it does and it comes here, we are seeing it. Like, it looks so cool. So cool. And I think there's one other person that appears on stage with them as like a soigneur and like in various other like sort of supplementary roles.
So he
But
can
it's
so he can grab a bottle or something.
yeah, different
that's cool.
stuff
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
I
So or maybe they play fans or whatever. But I just was so absolutely just like, yes, I was so in the bag for this thing, man. It looks awesome.
How
So
did you find it?
oh, it was from listening to that the SBS cycling podcast that I listened to that's from Australia. They interviewed the guy on the show. You know what? I will link to that as well now that I'm thinking about it, because they interviewed the guy, and as soon as I'm hearing this interview, I'm like, oh yeah, this is awesome.
Right up your alley.
Yeah, so I'll put that link in there as well. It's called Cadell Lungs on Legs, starring Connor Delves. Do check out the trailer. It's really cool.
Awesome. Well, that's all for today's show. Join us next week as we guzzle a Belgian triple and break down the cobbled action at the men's and women's Ronde van Vlaanderen races, a.k.a. the Tour of Flanders, a.k.a. the second monument races of the year. Until then, for my brother Matt, I'm Justin Harper. Thanks for listening. We hope you'll join us again soon for another ride beyond the slipstream. Ale.
Beyond the Slipstream is a part of the Harperama family of podcasts. Find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Please like and subscribe, smash that button, leave a 5-star review, and most importantly, tell all your friends about us. Thanks for listening. Talk to you next time. Ale!